Welcome to AP Daily. Topic 2.6. I'm Jill Westerlin from Hoover High School in Hoover, Alabama. In this topic, we're going to talk about string objects, concatenating them after we create them. You've already been using string literals. We're going to talk about those and also introduce the ability or the fact that strings are immutable. Here are the learning objectives that this topic covers. The learning objective is about the string class, both creating string objects and calling and using them. And then we're focusing on two essential knowledge statements in this video. Obviously, like I said, the creating of string objects and using the constructor to instantiate string objects. And then we want to think about how strings are immutable as we begin to look at acting upon strings. So let's get started. So here's some code that I have called the public class string objects 2_6, and I'll try to do that throughout these lessons so that you can mirror the lesson with the code and kind of follow the numbering there. So I've got a couple of students and I've created 3 string objects using Jaden Java, our student in the class, and Jessica Java, another student in the class. And you can see that Jaden Java, that string object for his name is created with a string literal. This is very easy for you to kind of bring forward from what you did in Unit 1 with system.out.println. You've been already using string literals and enclosing string material in quotes. So here we want to look at how name 2 and name 3 have been created. Here's the anatomy of this first string. We have the class that's been declared. That's our data type, which is the string class. The variable name is name 1, and then our string literal is Jaden's name. The second way we can create string objects is by actually instantiating a new string object. And the reason that I'm using the word instantiate is because the keyword new has been used in this particular example. This is the second option of how to create a string. I'm using it with Jessica's name. So here we have the class again, our string class, which is also our data type, our variable name. The keyword new has been used. And what do we want to create new? We want to create a new string class object, which is an actual parameter of Jessica Java. And now we have our third way to create a string object. And what I'm doing here is very similar to the second way, but I'm also, instead of using a literal to fill in the actual parameter this time is pointing to and grabbing the variable name 1. All right, second key point in this topic is the fact that strings are immutable. And what this really means for us is as we begin to use string objects, the methods that we use on those objects, the methods that we call to do things to our string objects are not going to change the state of the string as it's been defined. They might pull things out of the string. We're going to learn to concatenate with the strings, but the actual parameter, the actual data that that string was defined to be is not going to be changed. Here's our same code again, and what I want you to think about is what would actually display or be produced by this code. Hopefully you answered nothing. I hope that's what you said to yourself or you said aloud as you were thinking through this code. If I want to display Jaden Java, Jessica Java, and Jaden Java, I've got to call that, which is exactly what you learned to do in Unit 1, and here's how I would do that. These 3 lines of code that are highlighted declare the string and they define the string. So I've declared the string by saying here's my data type and here's my variable name. I've defined the string as what I told it to have that variable become or be represented with, but I want to print that out or display that to my console, and so I have to call it. So for the first line of code in my system.out, I would get Jaden Java. Now we would get both names, and then finally we would get the third name. Now I'd like for you to practice and pause the video now and write some code that replicates our examples here using your own name and a friend's name. Maybe you want to have multiple friends that you include and you'll have more variables than 1, 2, 3, but at least replicate and have the 1, 2, 3. And in addition to displaying them, think about other ways that you might be able to have a fourth one that goes back and grabs a different version of name 2. So have some fun with this and create a small program to apply what you've learned in this video. Here's what you're going to take away. There are 3 ways to create string objects, and strings are immutable. In the next lesson, we're going to begin to think about string methods and working with strings, and so I would like for you to really make sure that you're comfortable with creating them first and displaying them. Thank you for watching.